Dear audience, dear fellow panelists, dear Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for having invited me for this panel, and thank you very much for allowing me to contribute to this panel in this slightly unusual way. I'm very happy to be here, and I hope to contribute. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Boudewijn Haverkort. I have studied and have a PhD in computer science quite some time ago, and I've followed the typical ranks of the academic profession throughout the 1990s and the first 10 years of this century. Since 2003, I'm full professor for dependable system design, especially communication and embedded system design at the University of Twente. And since then, I've also had two other roles. I've been director and chairman of the board of the Embedded Systems Institute, which is a public-private partnership, an applied research institution. And since the beginning of this year, I'm chairman of a national applied research program on big data and its applications. And especially these latter two activities have greatly shaped my view on what important is for a community like Formats. If you want to know what I have been doing technically, it is easiest to just look at my Google Scholar page, which I showed to you here as well. You will notice that I have worked on quite a variety of technical systems, be it embedded systems, cyber-physical systems, communication systems, lately also critical infrastructures and energy systems, but always with an emphasis on a quantitative evaluation of such systems and design support related to performance and dependability. You will also notice that I have co-authored quite a few papers with people that are also very active in this formats community. I have been active more on the side of the formats community of only 5 papers at Formats. And if you ask me what Formats has done or has worked on, what the Formats community has done so far, then I think that Formats, and I can't summarize it all, has done great work, great achievements so far in the field of timed automata, the analysis of real-time systems, decidability results, a lot of work on efficient algorithms for model checking, a little bit less but still important work on controller synthesis, lots of works on state spaces, and especially also supporting tools. And I mentioned UPHAL for timed automata and its variants, and Favor for hybrid automata. And there's much more, And if you see all this, you might ask the question, well, then all these great results should be heavily used in industry. We've done so many things there. Well, maybe it's a little bit disappointing, but I don't think that that is the case. And I'd like to ask you and think for a moment about what you think are the most important design tools in industry these days. Just give it a moment of thought. And let me now give you my view on this. I do think that these 3 tools are most widely used in industry. It's the Microsoft tool suite. I've been involved in quite a number of industrial projects, and you see that PowerPoint, Excel and Word are the tools to document designs, to refine designs and to communicate designs. And sometimes to analyze designs. And if you're working in a slightly more high-tech systems context, embedded systems context, and also MATLAB Simulink is the tool that is being used. And so, if we think that we have done great work so far, and if we want to continue that great work via research grant, then I think we have some way to go. The community has developed great techniques and tools. However, if you are honest, the true industrial uptake is really disappointing. If you feel that's okay, well, then just continue as you do. However, if you think that we should change this a little, I think we should change the way we work. We should do something different, or maybe something differently. To summarize, we did things right, but did we do the right things is the question. And the first step to go towards doing the right things is to analyze why the uptake of our results, the good results from this community, why this uptake is lower than we think it should or can be. And here are some thoughts, and it might be a little bit provocative, but give them a moment of your thought. Probably we are too much in love with our own methods and techniques, and you know, love makes blind. we don't see what is out there anymore. And we probably also feel safer at home with our textbook examples rather than in the hostile world out there. We do speak our own language very good, much better than their language. And maybe we do not even like to speak their language. We want them to speak our language rather than the other way around. Sometimes I also hear that we actually might fear that we cannot do our challenging work anymore if we mingle with just ordinary system engineers. Well, I say something more about that. And probably we are too much focused on analysis and too little say on design and on the construction and synthesis of systems. So what to do? Well, here is some personal advice where I think are good ways to improve. We should really work with people in the field, and that means not just people from research department, but really also from design and implementation departments, and learn to speak the language of the people there and respect their tools and approaches and the conditions under which they have to work. Do not forget that these people have built systems that brought us to the moon and beyond without using any of our or your fantastic tools. So to do this, you have to embark on application-oriented projects to truly encounter the challenges ahead and accept to work with and integrate your technique in industrially accepted tools like MATLAB Simulink or even Excel. And develop domain-specific front-ends, DSLs, to make the application easier and to foster actual uptake. And especially in the context of the Embedded Systems Institute, we've seen very good uptake of methods and techniques once they're wrapped into a design-specific language for the typical industry at hand. And if you do so, this will serve industry in your corporation, but it will also serve the community as a whole, and it will survive the community to help the community to survive prosperously. Just working on your next new model variant on your own will not contribute to that. And then let me come back to this question, can we still work on challenging problems if you do application-oriented projects? Well, the short answer is yes, we can. In addressing real systems and their models, you will come across all the challenges you can think of. Scalability of methods, model largeness, all sorts of data dependencies, all sorts of timing phenomena, deterministic, stochastic, probabilities, hybrid elements, non-determinism, you name it, or even systems that adapt over time, self-learning systems. Don't be afraid that reality is too simple to satisfy your intellectual appetite. Well, what are steps to be taken? And you might go back to my 2011 keynote at Formats, and I presented there the way of working at the Embedded Systems Institute, now also known as the Industry as Laboratory approach. With that approach, we have had very successful cooperation projects with industry in the context of which also PhD students did their work, published papers, wrote theses, and so on. What I'm currently doing is that in the Dutch National Research Program on Big Data, Commit to Data, which I'm now leading, we only fund projects in which private partners top up the research grant with 15 to 25% in cash upfront. This is fantastic. It increases the research funding for academia, so all the money goes to academic partners and can be used for hiring PhD students or postdocs, but it really fosters true interaction from the outset. At the project definition phase, the partners are involved and they commit to the project by writing down in official letters that they will contribute with that amount of cash. And if you do that, that is a very good starting point for working on real systems and real problems. And I can only invite you to embark on such initiatives if they are available in your country, or to even start such initiatives to enrich the community and to bring new great achievements to real use. And I would be more than happy to interact with you on an individual basis to talk about the setup we've chosen with Commit to Data. Thank you for your attention.